everybody, welcome back. Jeff again. Minecraft vanilla server. Having some fun. And today, what I want to do is I want to get into getting this item sorter worked out like we need it to be, so that items transport from one side to the other. Now, I've been looking at a few different tutorials online, and I think I'm going to do a combination of a few of them. And then I still have some work to do at the end to try to get couple little things figured out, but I'm going to be using part of a tutorial by a group named Minecraft with Dummies, part of a tutorial by Pugnation, and part of a tutorial by NeoM. And this is utilizing a suggestion that was done by a guy whose name I can't say because I think it's in Thailandese. I don't know, whatever, Thai. I guess it'd just be Thai. It's in Thai. It was a bunch of squiggly things, so I can't pronounce the name. But it reminded me of Thailand and GeoGuessr, so I'm pretty sure it's a Thai name. But they basically, I had talked about using the water stream, which is something I could relatively easily do, I think. But then he said, remember, your fans also suggested that you do the minecarts. And I was like, you know what? I got so much rail from my excursions, I gotta use it for something. So now there's a couple questions I have in mind. I was gonna hide the minecart and do it underneath and have it go underneath the floor. But then I thought about it a little bit more and I was like, you know what would be cool? What if I just had it going across the ceiling and it looks like a train at like Christmas time? So yeah, you know, the trains at Christmas that go around the room. So I think I'm gonna go with that method, and this is gonna definitely take some work for me to figure out how to get this thing going right. Look, there's stone bricks. I need to find stone. See, this is why I'm trying to get this thing finished finally, because I am sick of just picking through these chests. I got all this stone brick all around. Maybe stone brick will be the way to go, just because I have a bunch of it all at my disposal. And I was thinking, and this part doesn't really even matter. This is the just the beginning workings of it. If I do this, does it really interfere with my deck design would be the question. Because if it does, then I'm going to go underneath. But this part actually can be corrected later, because once I get the input and output going, if I have a train going across there, I actually don't think I like that. It might have to go underneath the floor. It might be going underneath the floor, guys. Sorry to get your hopes up if you were wanting something else, but I think I might do underneath the floor. Oh yeah, I gotta make some picks. I forgot about that. So let's get started in the meat and bones of what this baby's gotta be, because the initial part of this is kind of crucial to know if this thing's actually gonna work like I want it to. So pretty much I'm looking at a tutorial next to me as we speak, and one of the things that I need to do is find out where I want the logic behind this to go. I think I'm going to turn these hoppers and go that way. So this one, instead of going into this chest, will go back this direction, and I can start building my gate from there and then make my minecart track and do whatever it needs to do to get to the other side. So for that, I need repeaters, comparators, and a hopper. Now hoppers, I have some hidden around in this area somewhere. They will be found eventually. Right there. They will be found right now, folks. And there's all my diamonds, so I don't want to forget those. Now the question is, do I have any comparators left, or do I have to make comparators? I might have to make comparators. Oh, look, it's like emptying from the system because I had a lot of stuff. Oh, there's a couple comparators. I got so much stuff like backed up in here because I keep throwing just garbage into the system and none of it's coming out. I think this might be my limits on comparators that I have at my disposal at the moment. So we will deal with the 3 to at least get, look at these diamonds, and I put them with those diamonds. Let's do that, so at least they don't get lost. So without further ado, here we go. Let me get some dirt out so that I'm not completely wasting those picks that I just made. And this from here, or excuse me, from here I would put a hopper chain going this way. So let me go steal. No, I should have enough hoppers to do this. I don't want to, crap. I don't want to break this chest right now because it's got so much stuff in it. And it would just go all over the floor. So either way, let's let's pretend. Get some of this wall built out, because I can do this over here. And my hopper chain is going to go potentially this direction. Another hopper there. So it goes out here, and then I'll have room to build the circuit logic that I need to get this to happen, with the minecart kind of hidden in the wall. Back here, I just hope it doesn't break into that other area. I don't think it will, because I think my hole over there is actually near the back end of it. So this first part is by Minecraft with Dummies. And it's just a way to load the items relatively seamlessly and easily into a minecart track. So let's say if I had a minecart track that was... I'm moving my inventory all around in spaces I don't want, so I don't interfere with this thing at all. So I would have a minecart track that consists of the starting of a powered rail right there. I didn't get any of my rails out. My normal rails. They are in one of these chests. There we go. My normal rails. Let's get rid of one of these picks. I don't want to mess with that pick either. To get this on my bar. And it goes off into wherever it needs to go, land. So we can deal with that part later. Then the first thing I need to do is there is a hopper that's going to go on top of this guy, because he's going to be pointing down to my minecart. Whew. My chest minecart is going to be pointed to there. I just realized that I would technically want this part of the chain to be doing this. So I'm going to have to build it sideways. Just sideways based on the picture that I'm using to do this. Because they have it all in one cohesive line. But the way I have the hoppers coming in, it wouldn't work that way. But this shouldn't be a problem to turn it. It should not be a problem to turn it. So, comparator. Right here. Because it's comparing this hopper right now, whether it has items in it or not. Which currently it does. So this thing is on. Which is fine. Then we are going to... Ooh, I hope this is enough room without interfering with this. I might have to go back one more. I might be okay, actually. We'll see. So this is going to go here. Perfect. I actually think we are okay. We're not okay. No, we can make it okay. Because I need... well, let's see. Let's see if we're okay or not. That is going to connect there. Oh, no, and I can't stop that. Nope, nope. We will back this up one more just for safety's sake. So let's do that there, that there. Get rid of these guys. And yes, this is kind of a waste of hoppers. But, I mean, what are you going to do? They're hoppers. They're expensive. No big deal. Okay, I get you in here. Let's back you up. This should just make sure that I don't interfere with the item sorting system at all. In the first place. So, again, off of this hopper, we will then have our comparator. The comparator will go to a... block. I'm kind of building this backwards, but then I'll go through it afterwards. Inventory management. Redstone is going to be a redstone torch, which I don't have any of, but I can easily make a handful. Redstone torch going that direction, which is not where the redstone torch actually goes. Redstone torch would go here. There we go. And that's actually it. So what this should essentially do is when this has an item in it, it should turn this off. so that when my cart gets down here, boom, perfect. The cart will sit here and empty out from this hopper. When it empties out from this hopper, once it's emptied everything that's in this hopper, it will then get sent to where it needs to go. Now, this is something I'm going to have to look at later, because this is part of the problem that I already know I have to address, is that this system is designed, and all the systems that I've seen are either a push-button start, which I don't want, or it is... it constantly just goes, and if there happens to be something in the system, then it sits and waits, and then it, you know, shoots across the side. And if there's nothing in the system, it will just continue to move back and forth. I don't want it to continue to move back and forth. However, I might not have too much of a choice right away. But if I just did this properly and find my food that I need to find a... That's not food. Let's eat. Let's get some of the minecarts out. Actually, only one minecart. And we'll test this to make sure it works fine. I took all those minecarts from my excursions and placed them somewhere. There's one. That's all I really need for now. I need to make a chest, which I actually have a trapped chest. Can you do this with a trapped chest? You cannot. So I need to go get a regular chest made. And... regular chest. Minecart. Oh, that's my trap chest. Minecart with chest. Wow. So the goal of the way that this is going to work is I will now place this here. It should start getting the items. Right when it gets all the items, boom, it gets sent off. As you can see, that actually worked exactly as it was supposed to. So this part of the... But the thing is, there's nothing in there. So if I push this back, it gets shot off across the way. So this part of the system is actually done. I would just need to build this cart, this line, to make it over here somehow, and whether I snake up the wall and go across the ceiling or snake down underneath and go across that way, that is what I still have yet to be determined. Okay, but the hard part comes over here, and I might actually dig into the wall up here and build it because of the fact that I know that I open up to the outside relatively closely here, and it actually doesn't matter. As long as I can get my cart over to this area, I can snake it out and have it interact with the system right over here just with a hopper chain out of the wall or something of the sort. So I'm not that concerned with that being a big problem, but I just want to make sure I have enough room in here to do this, because this side's a little bit bigger. This side, I use some concepts from NeoM, but unfortunately, it appears that due to some of the changes since he made his tutorial, that minecarts work slightly differently. And that what I found in trying to execute this in a single-player world is that his design is set up to, it detects if anything's going through, to see if the cart is empty when it's unloading the stuff. A cart will come on top of a hopper that has a rail sitting on it. So let's say it's got this powered rail sitting on it. The cart will come over this hopper. It will stop because the rail is off. It will start unloading its items. And then when it finishes, it detects that the hopper is now empty. It shoots a signal up. It turns on this rail and the cart goes back off the other direction. Now, the problem that I've run into is it seems that the initial way to get this to turn, the comparator to turn off, because this will be on by default with the way that it's set up. So that actually detects when the hopper has something in it. It will send a signal out and turn off this powered rail so that the cart will sit on top of it. And in his tutorial, it worked perfectly. And if you load the hopper with a stack of items, it works perfectly. It waits till everything's done and then it shoots the cart off. The problem is when the cart comes in, it's based on the cart will, while this is still even powered, it'll come and it'll drop off an item as it's going this direction, which should trigger the system to turn this off, and then it'll sit there and wait for the signal to go back again. Well, what seems to be happening is it's only pulling one item very quickly from the cart when this happens. It did pull an item every time, but this isn't seeming to trigger unless you have 2 items in the hopper, because the hoppers are... I put a stack of things in there and noticed that it went from 64, 62, 60, 58, 56. It was actually pulling 2 items out at a time. So the whole thing was happening too fast to get the signal around, and I couldn't figure out how to get... I was trying to delay the signal, but you still need that initial signal to reach there first, so unfortunately delaying it didn't help at all. So long story short, I had to abandon that concept, even though I really liked that idea better, and I'm moving on with a concept that I think is really cool, but I was trying to avoid having to do, because this concept actually involves a piston. And I don't know if I have any pistons lying around. I'm going to need to make one. So let's take this. I need stone for a piston. Regular stone for a piston. Stone, iron, redstone. It involves 1 piston, and like I said, it's pretty cool actually. But it's noisy, and it's actually gonna... Oh, I don't need regular stone for this actually. I need doop. There we go. It wouldn't be a problem because conceptually, I will get a load of stuff into a minecart over here. It will zip up, come around, it will drop off like basically an entire load. I'll go empty my inventory into that chest, it'll start the system. Once every time it would go over here, it would retract a piston, then it would extend a piston to send the minecart back, and that would be it. The problem is, I have realized with this system, this whole detector portion down here, I'm trying to explain it to you guys so you guys know that I've thought these things through, as well as the fact that if you didn't realize it at first, because I didn't actually think about this until I was trying to test it out and see what would happen. If I put a stack of items, or I put multiple stacks of items in here, many of the items could go into these carts that are, or these chests that are right here. That's why the item system is like double wide item system. So it would, stuff would go down here. It would go through this system, anything that wasn't on this side, and it would start dropping off. Well, this thing could detect an empty hopper because you got like 5 or 6 items that are coming down this chain that don't belong in these chests, and then you got a stack of items that will take a little bit of time to go through that does belong in these chests. So while the stack of items is actually going into these chests, you got these 5 or 6 items that run down here, start filling the minecart. Minecart gets full with what it thinks is all, because this hopper gets emptied because it's just delayed and waiting in the system for like a stack of cobble to go through and get deposited into one of these chests over here. Minecart shoots off, goes, unloads that, comes back. Now, after the stack of cobble, there's more items that are supposed to be on this side of the world. So they're sitting here in this hopper waiting because there's no minecart there to fill up. So they're waiting. Then the minecart comes back, it fills up with these items that are waiting, it shoots off again. This thing could happen multiple times in the one unloading of this chest. So it's not perfectly efficient, and that means when it comes over here, the way that this hopper, or excuse me, this piston is going to work, it's going to have to retract and detract every time the cart comes over onto this side of the world, which is what's causing a noise issue. I wanted to avoid doing things that involved like the dispenser shooting out an item. I was going to live with it and deal with it if I did the water transport system, but I'd rather avoid it. This is a little bit more silent. Granted, the minecarts make noise, but I think that's kind of a cool noise, so it's not that big of a deal. But anyways, let's get to building this thing so maybe you guys can see what I'm talking about. I got to get my picture that I have in the corner of this one. Like I said, this is Pugnation's system, and I'm going to build this into the wall so that you guys can, or so you guys can have enough room to build this. I'm going to build this into the wall. No, so I can have enough room to build this. And I don't know how deep it needs. It actually doesn't need to be that deep. But I got to keep in mind that I need my hopper chain needs to be at this level or higher. Okay. That is something to note because I need it to seamlessly integrate with this system, or it can go down into this system. It just cannot go up into this system. Otherwise, I have to do a whole different thing. So this is the lowest level that my hoppers that I'm going to need are going to be able to be at. And that being the case, if this is the lowest level of my hoppers, I could start with the hoppers here. And I'm trying to determine orientation of this system. Let's get something back here. Because the way the system would be oriented now... Okay, none of this is outside. Oh, there's the outside. I knew the outside was coming. So I can go like that. Okay. And everything actually is built on the hopper level or below. So we need to go back this way farther, actually. Shoot. I got a lot of outside work I'm going to have to stone all these areas that I'm doing this with so it blends in more seamlessly. Which I don't think is going to be a problem because it's kind of a sheer flat wall anyway. So as long as I just go replace these with normal stone, I think we'll be okay. Okay, so let's do that. This should give me working room. But man, this orientation thing is confusing the hell out of me, actually. Because I gotta think of how the cart's gonna come in and where I want the output of the cart to be. I know it got really dark, guys. I'm sorry. Boom. Okay. If I make the cart come in, it's gonna come in somewhere over here. On this side. Well, underneath. I might even have to have it come back in way over here. Let's say it's going to come in this way. I'm going to loop it, and it's going to come in this direction somehow. Whether it's from underneath and comes up around. Yeah, actually, yeah, we'll make it just come in right here. Well, that's so close to the wall. Okay, we'll build the cart around it. We're gonna say that it comes in this direction though. So what I need is hoppers, just to show where it unloads from. That's not where I wanted that hopper. That sword out of here. Okay, boom. So it's going this way. He does it with 3. I only need it to be done with 2 because of the way that this is going to work out. So it ends up being over here. There's a hopper, or excuse me, a piston that is already in my inventory that will be sitting just like that. This then drops down to a line of rails. That one actually isn't even there. This rail doesn't exist. So it came down to this line of rails, which this bottom one is actually not even going to be a regular rail. It's going to be... Shoot. It's going to be a detector rail, but you'll see that in a minute. I'm just going to do this for testing so I can see how all this works. Next to this piston, it is going to have a line of redstone. Like this. From this front piston. We will have... Actually, first off, we got to deal with a comparator coming from... Sorry, a comparator coming from this guy. Because we need to see when it's actually, like, emptying out items. So my comparator coming from here. seeing what this thing is emptying out, it will go to a block right here. On this block is going to be a piece of, or excuse me, a redstone torch. So this thing will turn on and off based on what's going on in the system, which will eventually end up triggering some of this stuff through some other means. Like that means right there. And then it's a redstone dust line that will come out after a repeater to this is not the right level. This is supposed to actually be down a level. This is actually a very brilliant solution. And let me go create. It's quite small and compact. Oh, I don't know why I just went that way. This pressure plate, stone pressure plate. I'm trying to remember how this is done. That's it right there. Beautiful. Detector rail. Okay, so conceptually, oh no, come on. Don't do this to me. Okay, good, good. Whew. I must, when I disconnected this, it got rid of the angle. I thought that orientation-wise, when this piston extracted or extended, it updated this to drop it back onto the ground, and that would have been very upsetting. So, let me explain how this thing works. What this will do is it will send a cart. The cart will come up into the system. If it's an empty cart, I guess we can just go make another cart for testing purposes. And make sure that this works like I think it works. I don't know what I did with all those minecarts. They gotta be back in the system somewhere, so let's just go steal the one that we know is a perfectly functional working minecart over here in the corner. Okay, got that. And this thing, let's make sure. So if it's an empty minecart, in theory, this thing should, oops, there we go. This thing should not trigger anything because the empty minecart, because this detector rail should just detect a minecart with items in it. So if I put this empty minecart down there, see, it's not enough of a power for it to retract this piston. So essentially this thing will just go boop, hit that wall and come back. However, if I put an item into said minecart, I think even one item, it will be a long enough pulse. Hold on. Actually, I have this backwards. So I might be incorrect in my assumption with this. Oh, okay. I got it. I actually didn't even realize this. So no matter what, when the minecart runs over this detector rail, it's going to trigger this piston to retract, which will allow the cart to come up here and sit on top of this rail. Or this dispenser. Hopper. Man, terminology. It will allow it to sit on top of this hopper. When it detects that there's nothing actually in the hopper, because it's going to be a delay because it's like hitting a button, so it'll be like at least like a few ticks delay. It will, if there's nothing in this hopper, it will then re-extend this piston, which forces the minecart chest back onto the track and on its merry way. If, however, there's items in this thing, let's put 42 stone bricks in there. It should go up. It will sit there, and it will continue to get these items out of this hopper set, and until this minecart is finished. And once this is finished, you'll see it will then extend and shoot it back off on its merry way. There we go. And this thing is empty, correct? It is empty. All this stuff is in here. So this is the starting and the finishing of this track. Now, let's just, like, for fun testing purposes, I was building this thing up here, so let's just do it up there for now. So you guys we can see it in action. We can try to see how to come up with the best solution to my problem that you guys don't know if that exists yet. I don't know how to get it up there the best way, but we'll make it happen. I obviously need a lot of powered rail that I do not currently possess. I will have to go get a lot of powered rail to make this work. Let me, give me a second to, oh, shoot, to build this thing up to the level that I need it at, and then we'll go from there, and you guys will see what I'm talking about. Alright guys, here we go. I got the thing built just to show this off, and let's put some items in here. Put in like 40 stones, and you'll see in a minute, the minecart will come back. It will stop here. It will collect these 40 stones. Let's wait for it. Here it comes. Down there. It's sitting there. It's now collecting from this hopper because this hopper has stuff in it. So it's stopped. It's collecting as it should, which essentially what would happen is these would be the excess items that come through the item sorting system that have to go on the other side of the world. Finished it. Got it. It's going to take those items. Hold on. Let's go see if we can catch this thing quickly because it's got items in it. You can see it go down. And now over here, it has stopped and it is unloading those cobblestone, and then it will get shipped off on its way. Now, this is where the problem comes in. I have nothing else in the system waiting. So there goes the cart. The cart will go up and around. Good little carts. And we can watch it just actually from right here. Cart goes up and around. It goes back down. It realizes there's nothing there, so it just comes back. It's going to come around to this side. Realize there's nothing there. Push it on off on its merry way. And go right back. Now the problem is we're stuck in a loop. So I need some suggestions and hints in order to find a way to... I don't know if I can divert the track somewhere in the wall. It can detect it to see if it's empty. Divert it to a holding location. Then I guess I would have to divert it to the holding location down on this side, because when it realized it was empty, I want it to go house somewhere over here, and then when it knows that there's items in here, it needs to send out a signal to go retrieve the cart. Or if you guys know a way that I could make this turn off when there's absolutely nothing in the system, maybe even put a delay, like, because the whole thing is if there's something in this hopper, it will turn this off. If there's nothing in the hopper, it will leave it on so the cart keeps going, or it knows when it's empty. Is there a way to make a delay for if this thing empties and has been empty for long enough, it then turns this thing off again? Because that would be good. As long as it was empty for, 30 seconds, there's nothing coming through the system, the cart will sit here. Then if it actually gets an item in here, it'll restart that counter essentially. It'll keep the thing off until it then empties out again, and once it's emptied again, it will turn the thing on for 30 seconds until it's been off for that long. I don't know if there's a way to do that. If I can do it with a hopper clock or what, because right now this is great. The system works as designed, and again, thank you to Minecraft with Dummies and to Pugnation for having the main parts of the concept with this. Also to you, NeoM, even though I didn't use a lot of your stuff, because these work together very well. NeoM, however, does have a way that it actually detects the empty minecart and sends it off somewhere else, but it still is not into a holding location. It just sends it off somewhere else that starts a continuous loop over again. So I might look at that and incorporate that, but I would like to get some fan suggestions as well. Alright guys, this was more of a learning episode than a talky episode. So we got some system working. I'm going to turn this off for now. So hopefully when the cart comes back, it'll actually just sit there and we don't have to deal with it going back and forth in my base. But this is what it looks like when it goes. I kind of like watching it go like across there. I think it's kind of cool. Maybe I can put some glass behind it so I can still see out into here. I don't know. Maybe I can raise it up one as well. And, well, no, because then I need to raise the whole ceiling up one. I don't know. I don't know if I want it to go up above or down below or what exactly I want. But there it is. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And I will see you next time.